Welcome to the section where we will address one of the QHSE Companion Database Application, one of its sub-application. Today we'll address the internal and external reports and audits. So you will have an insight. Let's start. You come to this section, you have three choices: internal and external audit. That's where all information related to the internal and external audit report will be there. Here you have two extra components that you will see them always at the beginning of the platform of all the application, because those are supportive information. For example, the operation supportive documents. Here you can allocate any document you desire and you are looking for. Through this, we will address this subject later in a different video. Okay? And then this one here, subtable update platform. This is where all the tables that you have an open source where you can change its content. For example, reports and non-conformity types. Might be the type you are using in your company different than the type I have listed here. It's up to you. You can use them. You can add at the top of them. You can delete them. You can modify them any way you desire. Okay? So for example, here we have reports called inspection, some called surveillance, some called complaint. Yours might be complaint from such and such, department, You go ahead and just add it. Just either modify this, delete it, or just add it here, and then you hit save record. Okay? Very simple. For example, if we look at document location, same thing. I just chose here some document location, archived in the mainframe or offsite storage provider, hard copy headquarter main library, document custodian local server. You can change them just the way they fit your business. And then always when you do any changes, make sure you hit save. Close this one. Another one also, for example, risk type, same thing. I have listed here about 27 risk well-known types. You can add, modify any way you desire. Okay, so let's get out of this table. Now let's enter the main table of our internal and external audit. Okay, this table or this platform or this sub-application or this application has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tabs. We'll address each one of them separately. You start with the first one. We're gonna make, for example, an example so we can run it and see how it will work. Okay, so for example here, first of all, here you will have all your reports where you will actually store them. All the information related to your reports will be stored here. Okay, and I will explain all this and what they mean exactly. Here, for example, let's say you have plenty of reports already being populated, and now you're trying to allocate one of the reports. All what you have to do, just come here. The moment you press this drop down, you will see all the reports that you have populated. For example, here in this demo, I have about 9 or 10 reports. I just can click on the report here, the report number, report name, and report date. If I don't know the number, I might know the name. If I don't know the name, I might know the date or approximate date. So I just come to it like that. You can see all the data changed to reflect that particular report. Okay, now here you will have the report audit number, either the report or the audit number itself. Okay, because some of your reports will be part of an audit. Okay, so you go ahead and put that number here. That number could be, it has a dash in it, could be numeric, could be whatever you want. For example, let's say we're going to add here A, And the moment you do that, it's fine because it's a text field. Now the report name, you put the report name here. For example, this one, the name of it, it's standard specification code. You can see we added number A here. Report revision number. This could be the first report, second report, third report. It's up to you. You just put the revision for it. Report date, put the report date here, just like that. Choose the date. Okay. Now, if you wanna do the report year, you have to put the report here. It's very important because that's the way when you do analysis, it will tell you exactly what it is exactly that year and how many reports you have. Okay? Now you can see it has been divided into sections. This section here, we call it report identification. And this section here, it's report specific information. And this here, reportee association info. Reportee, that means who we are reporting against within the content of that report, to make it a whole lot easier for you so there is no confusion. Okay. Now the second one will be report specific information. Report type. Everything is drop down list. You can see drop down list here, and you choose, is it hazard, government, research paper, surveillance, third party. You choose it, so you don't have to worry about it. And you remember how we did this from that table I just showed you earlier. You change the report any way you desire, what's the report name, and from that table you can see the information is here reflected. Report designation. Is it an external report done by a third party or internal done by your own people? Okay, it's all drop down list. Report classification. Okay, is this an in-house report or other company report? Let's say you borrowed a report from another company, or you saw a report online and you would like to keep that report, and you give it a name and you give it a date and all this above information. That's up to you. Or outside entity report, either your house report, okay, or outside entity report. For example, you did a report on one of your suppliers, you put that report there, or other company report. Also you can choose this way, either way. Outside, it could be outside either your supplier or a report you saw online, or other. And if you don't like those name, you want to change them just to fit your style. If you notice there is a pin at the bottom here, you see that pin? It says edit list item. If you press on it like that, it will open. Now here you can add more options, or you can change these options to fit your company style. Okay, it's up to you. You can change them, or you can add them or modify them, and then just hit OK. Okay, if you don't see that small particular, that's mean like this drop down list, that's mean this is a table, actually came from another table, which is the one I just showed you earlier. Now you go report audit phase. This is the first phase, second phase, third phase, fourth phase, and you can see there is that small box here. See that small box? Same thing. Okay. Report custodian. Who's the custodian of that report? Custodian means the one who's really having authority on keeping that report. Let's say I am a QHSE division and we did a report on one of our supplier. We will be the one who's holding that report. Or let's say we are the drilling department and we did a report on one of our drilling companies, or one of our drilling sites. So we are the one who will be holding that report. Okay? Now, let's say here also drop down list. Okay, the custodian. You can see I put here some names: suppliers, quality division, HSE department, finance, drilling. It's all, this is a table because there is no, you cannot modify. The only way you modify it, actually, you come here exactly like I told you. Here outside, you come and you find what is that custodian. Custodian will be here, for example, custodian entity type. Click on it. All this the custodian. Here you can modify it, and that will be reflected there. Change the names to fit your own company, because your company might have different kind of division, different kind of structure. Okay, you just do the modification here. You just hit save. You close it. You're done. Okay. So now when you come here, whatever you put there, it will be reflected here as the custodian. See how good it is? Very powerful way. This video, it's an added portion for the updated QHSE Companion from the previous version. In the previous version, you did not have this red square here, which related to the product supplier or service provider. Okay, so now you have those added here. What it is exactly that in this, for example, you have a report here, because remember this form is for internal and external report and audit. This report could be any type of report. You can see from here, could be complaint report, governmental report, hazard inspection, surveillance, whatever report it is. Okay, so now for those reports, let's say if, for example, this report does not belong to any product supplier or a service provider in your data. Where is the product supplier and service provider are here actually. You can see if you go to here, you go to this application here, see product supplier and service provider, and their names will be here. Like product supplier. This is all the product supplier you have. All this name, product suppliers. Of course, those are fictitious name I'm giving you right now here. Okay, and service provider also, you will have all this name. And remember, each one has a unique ID number. For the service provider, you have SP, service provider, this number. Okay, could be sometimes the same supplier. Also, he's the same service provider. But it will have a unique ID for each service. You will give him a unique ID as a service provider and a unique ID as a product supplier. Okay, let's go back again now to our area which we added. Now, for example, as I explained, as I said, if this report does not belong to any product supplier or service provider, so leave it blank and just continue with the rest of the information of your form. Okay, the rest of the information, you just continue with it regularly. But if it belongs to any of those, and let's assume here this is empty, this report, let's say it's an audit report, and it belongs to one of your, Halliburton, for example, let's say Halliburton company. Halliburton is a big company in the oil and gas industry and supplying all kind of equipments. Also, at the same time, it's a service provider. So, but this report right now, you done it on the part of the product. So you come here and you choose the company. You're going to say, okay, I'm going to go down, because you wonder where those came from. Those came from that application which you already did in the product supplier and service provider sub application. Those names already there, being populated there already, because you already have information about your supplier. You're not going to make a report from the air. If you make a report that's brand new for, let's say, a new supplier or a new service provider, that's fine. Before you fill the form here, which is related to internal and external reports and audit, because this is a new supplier or a new service provider, first you come here, to the product supplier and service provider, and you choose, is he one of those? Okay, you come here, product supplier, and you fill the information about him. Okay, like his name, whatever information related to him, his address, you assign him an ID. Okay, which country is he from? Like from the United States, put his logo here, whatever you want, all this information related to him. And this section, will be explained later for you on that video related to the product supplier and service provider. Okay, so now let's go back to our report here. Okay, now let's say, for example, we're gonna choose our service product supplier, Halliburton, and you can see the PS stand for product supplier and SP service provider. Halliburton, that's the ID number, okay, for it. So you click here, and now you come here, and it's Halliburton, right? But could be Halliburton, several Halliburton, okay? But you match the ID. Okay, now that's it. Okay, you don't fill the other because he's just one, either one. Is he a service provider or a product supplier? If he does both of them, each report related will be to one area. And if you have, for example, you did it one report that for both of it, for the service he provide and the product also he supply, you can do it twice. You do this report and then you choose the product supplier, and then you do the same report again. You open it, you already have the information populated, but you just change for example, the report. For example, you put report number or report or audit number. You put, for example, here /supplier, and then the other one /service. So this way you can distinguish between the both reports. Okay, so this is the added section that added into this new version of QHSE database application to make a good correlation between both the report and the product supplier and service provider. Because if you come here, for example, let's say we go into product supplier, for example, you can see under his name, you will see if he has any kind of report. See, he has a product offered by him, and if he has any kind of report, like for example, this company here has two reports, one inspection at phase 1 and one surveillance. So okay, he has two reports, and then you have the report number, of course, and then you can go to the report and reflect that and see what is wrong with his report, what is exactly the issue raised with him, and you can go as far as here, and if there is an attachment on that report, you will see the attachment here. You scroll. Now we come to the reportee association info. This report against whom? For example, reportee rep staff name, because in every company, let's say you are doing a report against, or a division against, or a team against, should be there a representative guy that you can talk with and you communicate with, and then he will convey that message to the rest of the team or the rest of the division or the rest of the management. You put his name here because he's your reference. Okay, now the division or the team or the section or the company, you put it here. For example, here we chose this report was done against engineering department. Okay, and this engineering department, it's under division, under another team, they call it drilling team. You might not need two, you might only need one. I just give you two options because sometimes there is a sub team, one under the other. Okay, now report association address. You have to know, this is very important information because you have to remember, let's say you are a big company, has 5-6 divisions or branches. You want to know this report from where it came. Okay, it could come from Das Island, for example. It could come from Habshan, could come from Aramco area. You want to write that address. It's your own reference for the future. Okay, you put the address. For example, here we put Musaffah. And of course you have two lines for address. And then you put the city. For example, here the city is Abu Dhabi. And the state, if there is Abu Dhabi, there is no state, so you just click here and all this already populated for you, all the names possible, mainly a lot of available names from the US, like states, and also from Canada, from the Caribbean, Mexico, whatever, and if none of this name is there, just hit other. Okay, zip code, there's no zip code in UAE. The country, then also the same thing, click here, you see United Arab Emirates. This is already a table that's been populated, is there for you available. Okay, you can choose any country you want, United States, Uruguay, Uzbekistan, you name it. Okay, see how good it is. Now you come here, report type. The report type, is this a third party report? Is it a first party? Means done by your company, like let's say your people auditing or doing a report against another division or against themselves, they'll be the first party. Second party, let's say you are doing an audit report or reporting against one of your suppliers, you will be the second party. Okay, or maybe one of your people or you are employee a company that do work for you. They are the second party, okay, to that company. Or a third party. Let's say you are doing what we call a certification report for your standard, yearly standard. A company you hired came and did a report on you. So that company actually is a third party. It's not one of you, but it has your own report. So you can take that report and still populate all this information. And there on the reportee, you will put the name of your company. Okay? And you can change. You can see there's a small box here. Means you can change them directly without going to a table. Okay? Now, you have two type of reporters. You have in-house reporter, one of your own people, or outside reporter. Let's say you hire a company to do work for you. Sometimes you hire companies to do work for you, go to the suppliers and do audits on them, evaluate them, or do surveillance, or do inspection, or do any kind of work. You have to put the name. Who is it? An in-house reporter, or is it an out-house? In-house reporter. Who's the lead reporter? Okay, an auditor. You put his name here. You wonder where this name came from. This name actually populated from another application. That application they call it, or I call this application actually qualified auditors or qualified reporters. Okay, and I'll show it to you later, because that you can see this is a relational database. It means all these applications, actually there are 15 applications, 11 of them actually interact with one another. This is the power of the database, so you don't have to keep refill this information all the time. No, whatever you fill out in one area, it will be reflected in the other area if you are searching for it. And that's the beauty of it. That's the power of this database application. Okay, for example, you choose first name, last name, employee ID, his entity, because you have to know his entity, where he belongs to. Is he from the QHSE division? Is he from the commercial department, logistic department? And also you want to distinguish the state. For example, he is from the QHSE, but QHSE which one? There is one in Alabama, for example, and there is one in United Arab Emirates. They are all yours, and you can see the name. Particularly, I put the same name. It could be people has the same first and last name, but they cannot have the same employee ID. They will be distinguished employee ID, okay? Even though they have, it could be John Edward from Alabama and John Edward from UAE. You want to know which one exactly, okay? Their ID actually will distinguish them. And that also will give you more chances to make sure it's the correct guy by looking at the country. Oh yeah, I know this belong to this guy who is from UAE, or from this guy from Alabama. Okay? Okay? Now let's say this is the lead auditor, because that's the guy who will be in his name, be referenced on your report. Also this reporter or auditor might have a group of people working with him as sub-reporters. Just list their name here, also, because those people might be also doing, part of this application, or because he's the lead reporter, he's the one who will be talking with in case if there is something, but those the people who help them to populate this report. You put their name here. We're talking about the people are in-house reporter, okay? Now, out-house reporter, that's somebody you hire to do a job for you, and then he deliver a report. For example, report first and last name, you put his first and last name. Reporter company, which company he belongs to. You can see those company, and you can say how this drop-down list came, because you cannot choose outside this drop-down list. Same thing, you go to that table I showed you, and from that table, which is here actually, here, you see, for example, here, reporter company name. See those names here? You add as many names, you modify them any way you desire. It's very simple, straightforward. Everything's straightforward. Okay, you put his address, of course, city, state, zip code, country. Okay, now each report will be based on a certain criteria. You put that criteria down here. Report audit criteria. What criteria are you using? For example, here we are using ISO IEC 27001 Info Security Management. It's a drop-down list also. You have all these. I populated as many as possible for you, and you can also add as many as you want from that area where you have those tables. Okay? Let's say you added another criteria also. You did not the first one, you did several criteria. You put the other criteria here, but you write them. Just write them like that. Very simple. Okay? Now, assuming this was a report related to an audit. An audit, of course, you will find number of observation found. You write it down here. Observation closed during the audit. Maybe you closed it, maybe you didn't close it, during the audit. Just write 0. Number of non-conformity found. You found 2 non-conformity, because then you will produce a non-conformity report. And I'll show you that in a different application. You will produce actually that. And that will be correlated. As you can see, if you look here, down here, you can see this is the non-conformity detail. You wonder how this came from. This is an embedded table from another application. Whatever you put in that table there, and you reference this report number, everything will be showing up here. Okay, and color coded by telling you, for example, that this particular one already passed closing date that you have designated. Then you need to take an action. Everything is working as one piece. Okay? Okay. Now, and then you put the NC closed during audit. You didn't close anything. You just put 0. No number of noteworthy note. You put, assign follow-up date for that particular report. You assign follow-up date. Okay? Is this a final report? If it is a final, you just check the sign here. Okay? Now you come here. I will explain to you what this means here. Okay? Now you put comments about that report. Let's say extra comments you want for your own reference. You just write it down here. Just text file, text field. Okay? Now that report, of course, has a lot of information, document, soft copy, whatever, reference, whatever comes with it. You want to keep them attached to this report. You just click on that small box. You put add, and you just add whatever you want from your file into that report. So they will be part of that report. Okay? So, for example, I'm going to show you just one example, live example here. Let's see the first one. Does it have a report? Yes, we're going to save that one. Let's see which one has. Okay, this one you can see it has already a figure, which is PDF. It means it has a report already stored. Okay? Click like that. See the report. You can click on it if you want to see it. You can add an extra report by hitting add. You can remove that report, or you can open that report. So you can see it. You see how it is? You can see the report. Very simple. Okay, when you're done, just hit cancel. Got it? Okay, now here, as I told you earlier, it's an embedded table from non-conformity application or sub-application. Whatever you put there and you reference this report, it will be showing up here. Like this report here only has one non-conformity, and it's an observation. Okay, you can see every time you change, see we are now number 6. See, they change. There he has 2 non-conformity, 2 of them observation, and 1 of them actually passed proposed closing date. Color coded. It'll come automatically by itself. You don't have to worry about it. And also, to make it clear, now I will explain. See here, it says he has major 0. This window here does not reflect this blue area here. No, it does not. It reflects actually what's here. Because here you can see one is already is NC closed. Yes, it's closed. This one is closed, the second one, which has this number here. Okay, number 18. The first one is not closed. So he only has, yes, it's mentioned at the beginning 2, non-conformity, but one is already closed as checked by the line here. So then it's good to see. You can see major is 0. He doesn't have no major. Minor is 0. Observation, he has 1. Yes, 1, and it's open. You can see 1 and it's open. Okay, and you have even the power to do a lot of changes from here. Let's say this one, I know it's already closed. Okay, so I just click like that. You closed it. Even the color changed because you have that power, because this is correlated to the other application in the other side, which is the non-conformity. Now you close them both ways from one click. You know, you got it. And then what you do here, when you close this one here, you need to refresh it. First, we're gonna save it. Save it. This changes. Let's say we're gonna save these changes. As soon as we saved it, what happened? It turned to a 0. Why? Because we went ahead and closed it. But if we know we made a mistake, no, it's not closed. Okay, we just remove it. It became red again, like it was before. But here we need to update it, you know. All what you have to do, just hit save, back again to 1. Okay? And even here, total ANC, it add all this ANC and put him here. For example, this guy, let's say here, who has 2, for example, let's say, some might have 2. Okay? Good, you don't have 2 all the time. We have 1. That's good. Okay? Done? Now I explain all this section related to this platform, the first platform. Okay. Now you have a button here. You know, go back for. You can see this one. Remember, we added -A. Let's say we are in a different location now. Okay. We are on this audit. This audit. I want to see this audit. I want to see this one with the A. See, immediately came the A. This is a drop-down list. This is going previous report, forward report. If you want to add, this is save. Okay. To this, after you save, before you exit this report, do a refresh. It's good. I mean, refresh all the data to be reflected on all other sub-applications also. Okay. And now, for example, if you, let's say by accident, you know, let's say this is number 6, okay? By accident, I made a mistake here and I erased this by accident. Okay, by the time I try to go to another report, it will not allow me. It will ask me, you have made a change. Do you want to save that record? I say, no, that was a mistake. So it goes back one like it was. Okay, you want to delete a record? Hit delete. You want to add a new record? Just hit add and all empty. You can add a record and then save it. Okay? You can close this form now, but we don't want to close it because this form, it's part of this big form here. You know, leave this close. Don't use this bottom one. Always use the top one to close the whole report, the whole internal and external report platform. This bottom one, you can use it later. I will show you when we do a link. Okay? So now, let's do that. Now we'll explore the second tab, Search and Report. Here you can explore many reports about you can populate many reports and search criteria about your reports in total. I mean about all the reports you have within your company. Okay, you can see you have about 9 reports. You usually need 1 or 2. You're not going to need them all, but this is good for future reference. Okay, now if you don't know the report, first criteria, it goes by enter the report number. You don't know the number. You have no idea what the number is. Okay, if you know the number, for example, even though if you know, like for example, I know it starts with some kind of A. Okay, and you have two ways here. First of all, to find your reports, you can do the criteria, which is here, or you can do a full report. Criteria, for example, you hit like that. Report number with A's. It gives me report number with A's. Okay, so I have actually about 3 report with the A. Okay, now I can narrow it down by knowing the report number, and then I can plug it back again there. And then I come here to close this window. Okay, close this window. You have that small X here. Close it. I don't want that. Okay, I want actually now to find, let's say I don't know anything. I don't know what's the number. If I just hit search, it will give me all the reports I have that I have actually created in my system. For example, here I have 8 reports. The beauty of this also query, you can here play with them anyway. You can find the report based on, you can sort them out, any way you desire, up, down. You can sort them out by the report number, the report name, report year, report date, report type, you name it. Use all the criteria you want. And when you're done, you just hit X and you're done with it. Okay? But if you prefer to have a report that's nice because you're going to send it to your management, even that criteria actually, if you want to send it to your management, it's easy, just do like that, copy it and paste it to any, text file or Word file or, you name it, any file you want. But if you like to have a nice report, you just hit, and you don't know the number. If you put the number here, fine. If you don't know and you want to just, it will print all of them. You can see you have all the report. And it's already designated per year. 2019, you have those 2 reports, 2018, 2017, 2016, and that's the total. Okay? And now you can see this is the heading. And now any of those reports you want to look at it, you don't have to, write down the number and then you go back to try to find that report. No. If there is a report I'm concerned about, all what I have to do, it's a hot link. You just press on it like that. It opens the report itself and all the information related to that report. And that's where, remember I told you that close, the bottom one, close, don't use it on the regular time. This is the time where you will lose it. When you do a link, you finish here, you just hit close. And even you will have the date, when this report was done, and the time. For example, here was June 9, 2019. Okay? You want to close that report, you just hit close report, and you're done. But let's say you want to print that report. You just hit print, cancel because I'm not printing right now, I'm just showing to you. You can see the report will show here. Okay, if you don't want to print it, you just come here to that X like I told you, small, as long as it's highlighted, come here to the small X, hit it like that, and you're done with it. You close it, you don't want to do anything with it. Okay, let's say you want to send it as an email. Send it as an email, choose the format, and you just send, and let's say for example I want it to be as a PDF. Okay, I set up this system right now with my email, which is the Outlook email. You can see the Outlook email open and the report's already attached, and you write the name of the people. Of course, that depends on your company server administrator. Maybe he has another account, maybe you're using Gmail or something else. That's all then you can arrange with the administrator how this particular data will be sent. Okay, let's say close because I don't want to do anything. You want to save it to a file, also you choose, and you just save it to a file, just choose PDF for example. You want to save it to a file, just save it in your computer and send it later, or just put it as a reference for future purpose. Close it, you're done. That's using the number. Let's say I want to go by particular date. Okay, so I just put like that. I chose the date, for example, let's say 11 here. Let's say I want anything the year 17 and between the year 18. Okay, let's say I'm gonna go all the way to the end of December here, but I'm gonna say 18. Remember, you have two choices. Either you do the query, tell me I have 3 reports, the date, okay, and if you want to have it in a report like that, you can see, Okay, now let's say I want to audit report by phase. Same thing. Always remember, if you don't put the date and you just, for example, let's say you came here, if you want to clear the date, just clear form. If you, for example, you came here and say, okay, I'm just going to phase 1, and you hit, it's not going to show anything, it's empty. Why? Because remember, this is a query that has parameters. The parameters has to be all filled out, which is you have to put the start date, start date, for example, 14, year 14, and today, for example, phase 1. Now, when you do it, it will work, okay? And you can show it, so phase 1. You have to put this. Always remember, when you see a parameter, you have to fill them out all or it's not going to work, okay? Clear it. Now, in-house, this is very important because you want to know, for example, audit and reports by phase. Let's say you have a phase 1, how many reports you have populated, your people has populated. Phase 2, you know how many people, because sometimes people, they do a report at the beginning of the year and then they slack off. They don't do anything, no reporting. Nobody's asking. So you come like phase 2, phase 3, it's empty, there's no reports. Why? Because nobody's telling them to do reporting. They have to, in order to manage your business, you have always to have an eye on it. How are you going to have an eye on it and then transfer that information to a tangible format, which is the report? If you don't have that kind of practices, you're going to be missing a lot, because the only way, you cannot say, oh, in the first quarter I noticed this and this. No, I don't want you to tell me you noticed this and this. I want a tangible report with evidence, so for me to use that tangible evidence to show it to management. That's the whole idea behind QHSE management, to have the structure, act smoothly, not erratically. Okay, now starting date, for example, here you want an in-house reporter auditor name. Let's say there is one particular reporter, I want to see, for example, how many reports he has done during that period. Okay, it's not to punish him, but I want to see, because some reporters, they don't do nothing, and some reporters do a lot. Put the date, remember the parameter. You're going to wonder how this came from. This is actually came from that table that application I told you about, which is your internal reporter and auditor. You will have already their name filled already in that application. They will all be there. They're always going to be there. First name, last name, ID, and entity. The ID always will distinguish people. Like here, you have two Fahad Gohar, which is my name actually, but you have two IDs because one guy work at this division. Both of them actually working on the QHSE division, but they're two different people. Yes, there are people who has the first and last name the same. Okay, let's see. We'll pick up like that. Okay, remember you have two choices. You go here. Yeah, he has 3 reports. This guy done 3 reports. And you can see his name. It's there. So he's active. Okay, and you can also look at the reports like that. Either way, you will capture information, and you can see in 2018 he did 2 reports, and 2016 he did 1 report. And if I want to see one particular report, I'm interested, all what I have to do, just click on that report. Report will open for me. Okay, now clear. Let's go to that criteria number. Search by designation. First you put the date. Don't forget that. That's a lot of people actually don't put the date, and then they be asking me, calling me, saying nothing is happening. Yes, nothing is happening because you didn't fill all the information. Okay, this is very important here. Internal and external. You want to know how many external. External, that's related to when you audit your suppliers. Okay, the product suppliers and the service providers. You want to know, are you really populating reports or not? Because some people, they forget to do that. Also for internal, you want to make sure that you have internal reports, related to maybe internal audits, maybe internal subject, you name it. For external, for example, we only have 3 reports. And then you can play with it, sort them out anyway, by the reporter name, by the year, by the entity that we did the report against, by the specific classification. Is it an in-house reporter, out-house reporter? You know, you name it. You know, the limit is the sky. If you want to go is style for report, same thing. Okay. Now, search by reporter type. Reporter type. Is he a first party, or is he a second party, or is he a third party? You know, first party, you know, which is you, your people doing report within their own organization. You know, second party, you know, let's say one of our clients come and audit us. You know, he's a second party. You know, third party, we hire a company to come actually and do recertification for us or for our people. You know, so put the parameter and put it there. This is very good also for management of reports. Search by report. Here, remember, search by reporter type. The reporter type. Here, search by report type. This is very, very important. Let's say we want to see how many inspection we had done, reports, and how many surveillance report we had done, and how many, let's say, third-party administrative report, or certification body, or complaint, or government, or hazard, or inspection. Let's say how many we did inspection report. Okay, let's go like that. We didn't do any inspection report. Okay, let's see an administrative. How many we did administrative? We did 2 administrative, one in 2019 and one 2018. Concern what? We can click and go there and see them. Okay, surveillance. How many we did? We didn't do any. Okay, remember, this is fictitious data that I had created, you know, so you're not going to have all the stuffed information, you know, because it's just a fictitious data. Compliance, yeah, we did 1 compliance, okay, in 2019. Okay, clear. Now, search by custodian type. Very important, because I have so many divisions in my company or department or section. I want to know, some of them are very active, producing report, some non-active, don't produce anything, you know, because nobody is watching. But for me to watch, then I can say, okay, I have, for example, this so-and-so team. Let's say, for example, let's say the drilling team produce 10 reports, but the, let's say the commercial team produce only 1 report. What's the issue here? Okay, let's say the drilling team, for example, how many? He has 218, 217, produce 3 reports. Okay, we come to the commercial, for example, none. Now you'd be wondering why. You'd be asking why, because you are the head of QHSE, or you are the manager, or you are the project manager. You want to know why, you know, because you are in charge. You're supposed to know your people are doing their job, they're doing their work. Okay, you can choose anything, you know, HR department, you know. Remember, this fictitious data, so none of them are filled. Supplier, you know, could be the custodian is a supplier, because you want to know against your supplier also. Okay, you name it, you know, maintenance team, you know, so whatever, you know, it's all here. Okay, clear. Now, reports by entity or auditee name. Let's say I'm looking for a report related to a certain company because I need to do some work or see what's going on. Okay, all what I have to do, just, let's say I don't know the name of the company, but I know it start with, let's say it start with A. Okay, so when I click here, query, A, let's see, let's go here and look at this and see actually what do we have with the A. Okay, with the A we have AMC parts and ABC. There is 2 reports from here and 1 report from there. Okay, great. See, very easy. Didn't have to do anything, you know. And then I know the report, you know. If I wanna, then I can, let's say for example I'm gonna put AMC. Now I know the name, you know, almost I know the name. So I have 2 reports of AMC. Okay, so I have 2 reports now of AMC. If I don't look at it this way, you can see AMC and the reports. Name of the company and the reports. Okay, so this is the criteria of allocating a report any way you desire. Okay, Now let's go and explore the statistics and charts. Okay, that's here a lot of textual stuff, here a lot of visual stuff. Okay, now it's visual, so we can see things visually. Sometimes we need to have a glance, just a quick glance, and knowing what's going on without having to go into a lot of detail. Maybe our management review meeting is coming up, or weekly meeting or monthly meeting, so I need to know a lot of information ahead of time. And I need to be at the top of my information, So this is the best way to do it. The fastest way, actually. So let's go. Number of reports or audits per in-house reported per year. Okay, so now my in-house reporter, the in-house, okay, not the out-house. Let's say this guy has Hasna, this lady. She produced in 2017 one reports. Here it's external, represent 1%. Okay, good. Tom Hanks, same thing. Let's say this guy here. Okay, this guy with the ID. See the ID is showing up here. In 2016 he has one report, was external. 2018 he has two reports, one external, one internal. Okay, so now I know this guy is active, actually he's doing jobs, and then I need to see in terms of percentage to balance between external work and internal work. His internal is about 67% represent, which is good because I need most of the work, especially if he's an inside auditor or inside reporter. It represents almost 70% of his work inside reports. External, he's about 33%. That's a balanced. Okay? Close this one. Now, number of reports or audits designation per year, external and internal. This is per person. This is not as a general, as an overview. Okay? Let's say, here an overview, already you have it. In 2016 you have internal, which is the red. You have one internal. 2017 you have one internal but two external. In 2018 you can see this is as an overall. And here if you want to just particular year, okay, just particular year, say number of reports per designation, just per year. And you can see 17 we have two, see two external and one internal. Exactly, this is as an overall for the years, and this is just for that particular year. If you just don't want to show the management this, you just want to show them that only year. Okay, you got it? Okay, now report designation trend. You want to see the trend. The trend is very powerful. What it does, it tells you how good are you in reporting. Like for 2016, for example, you can see you have this square represent internal and this diamond external. In 2016 we have one internal, we have two internal also in 17, and two, of course, because you have here only 8 reports within this database for demonstration purpose. But when you have like 100 or 2, you see the charts going on everywhere, So now you can see the trend. For internal, for example, you have straight, which is just by looking at just for 8 reports. Let's say this company only has 8 reports for the whole year. That's good. I mean, I'm balanced, But for external, in 2017, I had 2. Okay? But in 2018, we went to 1. We went down. So we're not doing that much of reporting on our suppliers or outside clients. So we need probably to increase that. This is the trend. Okay, this is very important actually. Now, type of international management standard being reported or audited per year. That's very important. Let's say you have 5 or 6 division, okay, and you wanna 1 year you wanna audit ISO 9001. 1 year you wanna audit 45001. 1 year you wanna audit OSHA 18001. Okay, and 1 year you wanna 14001. So you wanna make sure it's divided equally, not 1 year. Now the first, let's say you have 4 years strategy or 5 years strategy. Every single year you are auditing ISO 9001 2015. What about the rest? Or management, risk management, all these other standards. Why are you not tackling them? You only focus on one. because the business is not just built on one standard. It's built on many standards correlated. They work all together to make this business flourish. Okay, so you go like this. Let's say year by year. Let's say 2016, we our report shows we have quality management 9001 2015. Great. Okay, so 2016 I want to have something different. 2016, yes, you have two reports. You can see two reports. The 5001, which is the energy management, and you have one report, food safety management, 22,000. Okay, and 218, you repeated the same thing. Maybe there is a reason, and then you tackled the quality. Of course, yours will be different. This is just for demonstration purpose. Okay. Now, number of entity involved in each report or audit phase and year. Number of entity. Okay, because remember, let me show you here. Okay, number of entity involved, because let's say for the year 2016, first phase, who was in the first phase involved? This company, Kroger. Okay, represent 1%. Let's say 2017 we have in phase 1 we have two companies, which is AMC Parts and Well Excavation Enterprise were involved. And second, we have only AMC involved. Okay, and this is percentage wise. Okay, you can see it changed from year to year. Your data will be different. You will be a lot of information here, a lot of columns. This is just for demonstration purpose. Okay, now number of reports audit per custodian, because this way you can see if some of your division or department or section doing work or some are not doing work. Okay, so this way you can examine. Okay, I'm gonna go 216. Logistic department has one report. Okay, 217. Okay, drilling team, they have two reports, and R&D division has one report. Okay, 218. Drilling team will have one, and finance team will have one. Okay, so on and so forth. Okay, now number of reports audit type per year, because this way you can narrow down which type of reports are you populating during the year. For example, as an overall, here you can see, you have administrative. You have two administrative, which is represent 24%. A complaint, you have one complaint. A hazard certification body, company schedule audit, which is this color here. You have two, which is good. Now this is as an overall. But if you want to, for particular year, just for the management, you want to show them. Let's say for 2016, you have company schedule audit. That was the report we produced. 17, you have three, one certification body, one company schedule, and one hazard. 2018, same thing. You can see, beautiful. It goes here as an overall. Here it goes deeper a little bit down. It show you. For example, here it says just two companies schedule audit, but I don't know which year. I mean, this is an overall, like for 5 years, but this is a particular year. Now I know exactly when that company schedule audit came. For example, company schedule audit came. Let's say which year is that. Audit company schedule was done on 2016. And one is done on 2/17. Okay. Now let's go we finished from the statistic and charts. Now let's go internal and external report and audit data sheet. Now, for example, this is a format way to fill information, and I think it's very powerful, and it's really my preferred way. Some people, they would rather have a data sheet style, which is like Excel style. You can use it here. You can see, you can fill the same information, but you're not going to have interactive information, such as you're not going to see, the internal, for example, the non-conformity embedded table. You're not going to see it because it's not here. Or how many you have, like that small window at the top here, which is this one here. You're not going to see that one because this is interactive. Okay, but the rest of the information will be the same. The rest you're not going to see this, of course, because this is embedded on a form. Okay, but the rest of the information will be the same, and you can see, you can fill as much as you want. You just come like here, and if you want to scroll, like that, you just keep like this, always. You can see you have a bar here. Okay, sometimes you have a bar here, you know, scrolling bar like that, see, up and down. And sometimes you have scrolling bar here. Okay, and sometimes you have to work with both of them. It depends on the size of the data. Okay, got it? Now, let's go. Now I added some education and information for people who wants to do audits. You know, they need some information, you know, helpful information such as the dynamic of the audit, the management system audit principle, you know, the type of management system audit, the audit objective, the scope, the criteria. You can see I'm moving this scroll bar, you know, but it won't go further, which means I have to go to the other bar, which is here, will go more further down. Okay, see? So this actually, this step, like I told you, has a lot of information, you know. It's all educational, closing meeting, conclusion, what exactly you do on an audit. What's the step you do? Those are very important, you know. Audit activity, what you do first. There is an opening of meeting. And then what? What audit method you will use. And then there will be a finding. Then there will be a conclusion. Then there will be a closing meeting. Then there will be an audit report you produce. Okay? And then the non-conformity, how you're going to deal with them. Okay, all this stuff. So I explained those tabs that related to the internal and external reports and audit. Hopefully this information was very helpful for you. And if you need any extra information, just let me know. And next video will be related to non-conformity application. Good luck and have a great day.